Hey everybody, welcome to the Cardboard Cave. There's a lot of the cardboard behind me. And today's video is going to be a little different. I've done so many Ninja Turtle toy unboxings that I'm going cross-eyed. That's been my obsession lately. I figured it's time to do something actually helpful to myself. Hopefully helpful to myself. Basically, this is a video that I'm doing for myself. You know, kind of a, I don't know, motivation, keep myself accountable, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. But also I'm thinking, I'm not trying to pass judgment or be, fall into the stereotype here. But you follow this channel, I unbox a lot of nerdy things. I review a lot of nerdy toys, board games, fast food. It's not a stretch to say that maybe a few of you are in a similar boat to me as far as could stand to be a little less fat, a little healthier, which is not just about being fat. You can be skinny and be unhealthy for sure. So yeah, a few of you might find use out of this. If this isn't your thing, just skip this video. I'm probably going to do a series of these videos. I'm not going to make this channel all about me trying to lose weight. That's not what this is going to be. But periodically, maybe once a week, I'm not sure how often yet, I'll do a video like this, just updating where I am, maybe giving helpful hints, but let me be very clear, I am not a dietitian, I'm not a health expert by any means, I'm not even an influencer, and my God, don't ever call me that, please. I'm a guy who has struggled on and off, more, I guess, on than off, with just being overweight my whole life. But honestly, I just genuinely love food. And I know that's a silly thing to say. Everybody loves food. But like I watch my wife's family, for example. Most of them don't love food the way I do. The way I grew up loving food. And it's not just like, oh, I get depressed and sit and eat a whole bag of chips. No, I just have always, since I was a kid, I get my own little world when I'm eating. People pointed this out. Like I just almost space out. I physically love the act of eating. I love the taste of the food. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. My favorite thing about going on a trip or any kind of vacation is discovering some new delicious place to eat. And I don't want that to change. I want to be clear about that part. Like, I love to eat. What I want to do is start making some better choices. So these series of videos, whatever I end up calling it, I'll try to stick with the naming so you'll know. If you don't care about this fat guy talking about trying to be less fat, click off of it. Go check out my next Ninja Turtle toy unboxing. For those of you who do care, though, to check out these videos. And it'll probably be maybe once a week, maybe more, maybe less, depending if I have anything new to say. But I do have some actual plans in place, so you can follow me to see if they're working for me, if something similar might work for you. I have zero sponsors, zero reasons to tell you something's good if it's not. I don't care what's popular, what isn't. I just knew I needed to do something. So a quick background, as quick as possible. I've just always loved to eat. And over time, I grew up, my mom made comfort type foods, but my mom was a really good cook. And yeah, we grew up in the South, so we ate a lot of things that maybe some people would consider unhealthy. But she made good, real food. There's a certain wholesomeness to that. But, after I moved out on my own and everything, and through the years, I've gotten way too accustomed to fast food, like through a drive-thru window, and fast food like instant ramen, frozen pizza, whatever I can come up with. And my job for the last number of years I'm not blaming my job, it's a personal choice, but it's added to it. I'm currently working third shift, and where I live, what's open at 3 a.m. in the morning? Only McDonald's where I live. Even Taco Bell's not 24 hours anymore. But regardless, it's all fast food. And I don't know if you've noticed, but McDonald's, except for desserts, which are their own kind of unhealthy, they really don't have anything that's not fried now. You look at the menu, at least here in North Carolina, there's not a grilled chicken sandwich. There are no salads. Not that their salads were ever any good, but there's not even that option. just a basic grilled chicken sandwich at least would be something I could get through a window that has, not healthy, but less, harm maybe. But no, it's fried burgers, fried chicken patties, fried fries. It's all fried. Even their pies are fried. And don't get me wrong, I love that stuff. But sometimes, I just want something fresh handed to me through the window. And there are zero fresh options at McDonald's now. And I'm saying McDonald's because I'm working third shift. And when I'm hungry on my way home, it has become way too easy to go through that drive-thru. I would be ashamed to tell you how many times, say in the last 2 years, I've gone through that McDonald's drive-thru. My job before that, I was driving an hour each way to work, and when I headed down the mountain, it was the same thing. Stop at that McDonald's because it's open and it's convenient. In the last 3 years, I have probably bought enough McDonald's to feed a small village for, I don't know, a month, 2 months. Like, just in the last few years, just me. Like, there was a point in time when I was stopping twice a day a lot of days because I had to head up the mountain to go to work at the hospital I was working at. I would stop and get fast food breakfast. It wasn't always McDonald's, but whatever it was, fast food breakfast, Hardee's, Bojangles. I love a fast food breakfast biscuit. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I'm getting hungry thinking about it, see? But I would get it for breakfast, and then I would eat whatever I packed or whatever's in the cafeteria for lunch because there really wasn't time to go out and get anything, which wasn't always healthy. Like, they have burgers and fries in the cafeteria, that kind of thing. And then on the way home, I would get usually McDonald's because it was the most convenient. So I'm eating fast food twice a day, breakfast and dinner. It was just ridiculous. And then on third shift, if I got called in, because my job, I get called into work, I don't always know what hours I'm working, which also adds to it. Anyways, but those are excuses. It's too easy to whip into that McDonald's drive-thru window because it's still relatively cheap, although not really like it used to be. Here in North Carolina, though, you can still get 2 McDoubles for $3.49, which I know is going to make some of you jealous, but it's actually been part of my problem. That is a lot of protein, to be fair, for $3.49. 2 McDoubles. And, of course, there's going to be a large sweet tea to go with it or something, Anyways, I've had so many McDoubles. I bet you, I have no idea how many. I don't know any way to know how many. But I'll just say I was earning those free McDonald's rewards a lot. If I could just see a swimming pool filled with all the McDoubles that I've eaten, say in the last 10 years, I think I would be shocked. And you can have those sometimes. It's not that you can never have them. It's cheap protein, like I said, but you shouldn't have them every day. And I got to the point where every day I worked, just about, I was having 2 McDoubles. To the point I got tired of them. That's how many I had. Anyways, I love fast food too much. I love just unhealthy foods too much. Even when I don't go get fast food, quick and easy, frozen foods. Not so much frozen TV dinners, because that's the other thing. I'm a heavy eater. It takes a lot to make me feel full. And so TV dinner usually doesn't cut it for me, so I don't bother. I'm more like a pack of instant ramen noodles and a sandwich, which probably is just as bad as McDonald's, honestly. Again, I'm still going to have that stuff sometimes, but it's like I've got to do something. I've got to do something to establish a healthier eating pattern and then just make that stuff occasionally, not all the time. It was all the time for me. That's the problem. And it's not like I had no self-control. Believe me, if I ate as much as I wanted to eat, I wouldn't even fit on this monitor right now, this screen. I don't eat everything I want to eat. Feel like I'm always hungry and I can't get enough to eat, and I eat too many of the wrong things. I love really good, fancy, expensive food. Also love cheap, garbage, fast food. That's the problem. I love it all, basically. I could be equally happy in either situation, just depending. So what am I doing? Well, first of all, the other reason why I'm doing it, not just because I'm tired of being, I say overweight, but if you go strictly by BMI, which I still feel like, this is something a fat guy would say, but I don't feel like you could go completely by BMI. You really do have different body shapes. This is going to sound like an excuse, but I am big boned. Not to quote Eric Cartman, but There was a time in my life when I was in my early 20s, I don't know, maybe 22, 23, 24, maybe up to 25 or so, a few years there when I was legitimately thin. I was just jogging every day for miles. I had nervous energy. I was single. I would come home from work, I would run. I called it walking, but then I found out that's what most people call running. When people say they're going for a run, to me that's, you're running from a bear. But no, I guess what I was doing was actually running. Which was funny. I have bad feet now. I can't imagine even doing that for forever. But I would do it for hours. Just to clear my mind, just to think. I would listen to music, whatever. And I was thinking about what I ate a little more, I guess. I was legitimately thin. But I still weighed well over 200 pounds. And I was I was thin. Like people were saying, Trevor, you need to quit losing weight kind of thing, And I was like 200 pounds at my thinnest. I don't know exactly what. I think it was just a little over 200. So, and if you go by BMI, I think 200 pounds for me is still like not perfect. Like they still want me to lose more weight. So BMI is garbage in one sense. On the other hand, if you go by BMI, I am not overweight. I am obese. So calling myself obese is not as much fun as just saying, yeah, I'm overweight. No, I'm obese. And it's not just the BMI that says that. I think, any doctor would probably agree. I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my whole life, which, I guess that happens as you age if you don't do anything about it. But I'm the heaviest I've been in my whole life. I try to make some better decisions. I don't just eat and drink anything I want to, but I'm just on the road a lot. I'm working a lot. Excuses. I just eat a lot of unhealthy foods. Sometimes just purely out of convenience, not because I'm even trying to feel any need or anything. Just out of convenience sometimes. But a few things working against me that makes me want to take this seriously to the point that I'm making this video. One, I just had my 40th birthday. It's been 2 weeks ago, roughly. If you saw the little video I did of the tennis board game, that terrible tennis board game I was playing with my brother and my friend Adam, that was at the little cabin we just rented for the weekend to celebrate my 40th birthday. That's the kind of thing I enjoy doing. Eating a lot of crappy food, if I'm being honest, and playing board games. But that's the kind of situation where I want to feel not guilty for eating whatever I want to. It's my day-to-day where I'm trying to make the changes. But anyways, my 40th birthday, things don't usually get better when you hit 40 as far as health, if you don't do anything about it. And then my last couple doctor visits have just been really discouraging. Like, I've not been a specimen of health for much of my life. Like I said, there was a time when I didn't consider myself an exercise nut, but I kind of was. I just loved to walk. I explored my neighborhood, then I went beyond my neighborhood, then I started going down the highway, and I would just walk, or run, as apparently some people call it, and I would just keep going, and I loved it. Speaking of, the other thing kind of working against me, meaning I really need to watch what I eat more, I have legitimately bad feet, and unlike what you might expect from a person who just said they're fat, it's not that it wouldn't be better if I was less fat, but it doesn't really have anything to do with that. I have genetically bad feet. You've seen the McDonald's arches. That's pretty much the arch of my foot. And actually, when I finally went to a podiatrist, he told me he just can't believe, because this was only a few years ago when it just got so bad, I just had to do something about it. It was several years ago at this point, maybe 5. I was like, I got to do something about this. He said he can't believe I made it to like my mid-30s before it caused me serious issues. I went to get custom inserts made for my feet, orthotic inserts, which really made me feel old, even at like 35 years old. And the guy who makes the inserts, he makes them for old people, for diabetics, He said that's one of the worst arches he's ever seen, the arches of my feet. So if I was a perfect weight or massively obese, unfortunately, my feet were always going to end up like this, maybe sooner or later. But like I said, podiatrist was surprised that it took me till this long. Unfortunately, that means even with my inserts, going out and running on the pavement is just not in the cards for me anymore. Now, I don't lay around. I have a job where I'm physically It's not a healthy physically active. I'm a RN. I'm a nurse in the operating room. I'm up and down constantly on my feet on a hard floor that's basically just cement underneath. But it's not really like a healthy, helping to lift patients and move patients. It's not really healthy for the body. It's the kind of work that kind of wears your body out. But it doesn't really burn that many calories, if I'm being honest. But my feet make certain kinds of exercise harder, which is even more reason that I've got to make healthier choices with eating. So, just turned 40. My last couple doctor visits, did I just say that? My last couple doctor visits have been very disappointing. I'm not going to give all my personal details, but basically, the two things that really concern me about that's what I was saying. Despite the fact that I've not been healthy, like weight-wise, I've not been an ideal weight for very much of my life at all. The lab work has never really shown anything bad. Like, I've gotten away with it, I guess, to that degree. Well, my last two doctor visits, so the last year, basically, for the first time ever, my A1C was elevated to the point that I thought it was a mistake. It's just never been a problem. And then now all of a sudden, it's what they call pre-diabetic, meaning I might still be able to do something about it, but it could be a problem. So that was a little shocking to me, to be honest. Pre-diabetic. I'd never heard that before. It was never even borderline before. So basically, my A1C, which is the best way to determine if you're going to be diabetic or are diabetic, it's borderline. It's like it could go either way, but it's borderline. Pre-diabetic, they call it. Then my cholesterol, which I have a family history of high cholesterol. Like, pretty much that was probably in the cards either way, but this is the first time it's really been high enough that the doctor really pointed it out. Cholesterol is high, and my low cholesterol is too high, and the good cholesterol, the high density cholesterol, was way too low, which is actually a little scarier. That is a big determining factor for potential problems. So, bad lab work, age 40, and I want to be around for my kids. I'll just be honest with you. I won't go any further than that, but I want to be around to see them grow up. So it made me start really thinking. So what have I done? This is an introductory video. They won't all be this long. But I've been doing this a few weeks now, so I wanted to get this out there before I made any further. Again, not a sponsor. I'm not going to make a blanket recommendation or not yet. I'm going to see how it goes. But I was on Facebook one day, doom scrolling, as they say, just scrolling through mindlessly. And these pictures of this food started showing up that kind of looked like, in my mind, what I wish fast food places would serve. Food that looks appetizing, but like real food. Not all brown. Everything's not brown and fried, like just pieces of chicken with a good-looking sauce, like grilled chicken and a side of rice, maybe, and a vegetable. Like, I like that kind of food, and it's certainly more healthy than more processed junk that I keep eating. And this advertisement popped up over and over. I mean, Facebook knows what they're doing. They probably heard me talking about, my phone it listens. It just does. It's heard me talking about this kind of thing. And it's called Hungry Root. Hungry Root. I think it's all one word. Not an advertisement again, but it's the one I decided to go with. Basically, Hungry Root, it's not like a diet plan. It's not any, you can cater it, like, hey, if you want to go keto, you can cater it to only send you keto foods. I'm not doing that. But it's just basically a meal plan. And it's not like Healthy Choice. It's not prepackaged dinners. Some things are prepackaged. But basically, you say how many meals you want per week. Like, if you only want them to cover your suppers, you can do that. If you want them to cover every meal, you can do that. And obviously, it costs more the more you do. And I will say, it breaks it down, the cost per serving. And I almost didn't do it when I saw it. I'm like, I cannot spend that kind of money per food. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it for a while. And I hope, if nothing else, it gets me in the mindset of, these are the kinds of foods I can eat that I actually do enjoy, that aren't through a drive-through window every time. So, because of the money, I don't think I'll be able to do it forever. But I hope it establishes healthy habits. And just gives me ideas of things I can make myself without it taking forever. So like I said, I've been doing it 2.5 weeks, maybe at least 2 weeks. And basically, you can choose whatever you want to. They have a huge list. It's almost like a grocery store. But if you don't want to put that work in, they say, hey, this is going to be your next delivery. You've got 2 servings of Thai coconut chicken and rice. You got 2 servings of, I'm trying to think of some of the ones I got this past week, of chicken, sausage, cheese, ravioli. You got 2 servings of just like a turkey Swiss melt. So what are some of the other ones? Atlantic cod and couscous. Or couscous. I don't know how to say that. Maybe it's couscous. Some things are definitely more healthy. Like I've had a few meals that are just a meat and a vegetable. Like not even like potatoes, no starches really. But a lot of the meals do have, it's not just usually like plain white rice, but like good rice. There are legit noodles with some of the meals they're real noodles. They're not made out of like cognac root or whatever. Like I said, it's not a diet plan per se. It's just fairly real food that is more whole food than what I was eating. Like if you're already going to the grocery store and making your own foods, I don't think this is probably worth it. But if you're eating everything that's instant or out of a drive-through window, then this is a big improvement health-wise. You're not guaranteed to lose weight doing this because you can still, like, you can eat as much as you want, really. But the way I'm doing it, I'm trying to stick mostly to what they say a serving is. And I've got to say, it seems pretty reasonable to me. I'm not like starving afterwards. It's because you're making real food. And to be honest, you can eat more of it if you want to. You're just going to have less for later. So everything, like 2 servings is the minimum. So everything you make is going to be at least 2 servings. Some of the things I made, it's like, that's more than 2 servings. Some of the things I'm like, yeah, I could eat a little more after 1 serving. But I will say this, the quality of the food so far has been great. The meat has all been really good. I even had steak with one meal. Let me say that, I don't cook. I use a microwave and I boil water for instant noodles. That's it. And we'll start about that. I made a steak in a pan, you know. I've always thought you need to grill a steak for it to be any good. But I made steak in a pan with, I think it was rosemary, potatoes, and green beans. It was really good. I mean, it would have been better if somebody who knew what they were doing was doing it. But as complicated as it ever gets it seems like every single meal is put some oil in a pan. I use olive oil because I think it's one of the more healthy ones. Put some oil in a skillet, fry the whatever. A lot of times boil some water, season with salt and pepper. Pretty much everything is seasoned with salt and pepper. Put some oil in a skillet. Like that's pretty much every meal. I've done some meals that took, a good 30, 35 minutes to make. But it's just because you got to wait for this to boil and wait for this and that. But a lot of them are like 10 to 15 minutes. And they're all very simple and basic. To the point that I realized I need to start using my own brain a little bit and not just follow the instructions verbatim, because I think I could actually do it a little better sometimes. But they're meant to be dummy proof, and they are. You can make an edible meal with 0 talent. 0. I mean, I have as close to 0 talent in the kitchen as a man could possibly have. As a human could possibly have. And only one of my meals wasn't edible. I mean, I just burnt everything so bad that it was ridiculous. Just screwed it up totally. But only one meal have I totally screwed up. The rest of them have been edible. Some of them have been downright good. And the quality of the food has all been very good. So, this is not an advertisement for Hungry Root. It should be good for what they're charging. But I will say it has been good so far. Everything has been quality. I don't feel like they've skimped or cheated. Some of the things you get are just straight up groceries, like a bag of broccoli florets or something. Some things are more prepackaged and ready. Like I've got the Thai, I think it's like coconut chicken dish. I think the noodles are already in a package and seasoned and everything, and they just have to be heated. But they're healthier than they have to be refrigerated. They're not just instant noodles. Then you start to put like the chicken in a skillet, I think. So there's that, and then there's some that you're just making everything out of fresh ingredients. But it's never more complicated than cut this up, salt and pepper, put some oil in a pan. That's really about as complicated as it ever gets. So you can do it. If you've got at least one pretty good sized skillet, just, a flat pan, and some olive oil, salt and pepper, and a good sized pot. I think, and an oven and a stovetop. you can make every dish that I've made so far, honestly, because they send you all the ingredients. Salt and pepper is the only, and oil are the only things you ever supply food-wise. I've never added anything besides salt and pepper and oil that wasn't already included. So yeah, it's working out for me. Again, you can adjust. The first time I got like 3 of my like 6 meals were fish, and I want to eat more fish, but and each one makes 2 servings. I was kind of tired of fish, especially since I don't really know how to do it right. So you can adjust it. Like, I didn't get as much fish the next week, but I will say, like, they sent smoked salmon. Man, that was good. Man, like, it's quality food. It is. Like, you're paying quite a bit, but they're not sending you cheap stuff. It's stuff you would pay a lot for at the grocery store as well. And they sent it in a big box with these fully recyclable, disposable, gel-filled pouches. And it's been 90 to 100 degrees in North Carolina when they've delivered it here lately. And it's not ice cold when it gets to you, but everything's cold. You got to put it in the fridge, as soon as you get it. Anyways, I'm going to end this by saying, where did I start from? And so then I can update it. Now, for me, the real test is going to be November. This is July. This is mid-July, right smack in mid-July when I'm recording this. And I'll probably put it up today or tomorrow. Mid-July 2024. In November, I think around Thanksgiving, I have my next follow-up doctor's appointment with more lab work. That's going to be the real test for me. Are my numbers improving with this food? Because I could technically not lose a lot of weight, and my numbers could still improve because I'm putting better nutrients in my body and less bad stuff. But I do need to lose weight as well. So by November, will my numbers improve? That's going to be the real test. That gives me several months. But also, by November, will I have lost weight? I will say, and this is hard for me to say because I've never hit this number in my life, but my starting number is within a pound or 2 of this, and I'm going to say it is my starting number because I hit it exactly like a couple weeks ago. 300 pounds. I'm basically 6 foot tall, 6 foot even. I do have a big frame. I mean, I think that's legit. But as an adult, I've been as low as just a little bit over 200 pounds. And for me, that was thin. But that still means I don't really plan to lose 100 pounds. I don't think I can without starving myself, to be honest with you. My metabolism isn't what it used to be. My feet suck. But I could lose some weight. And not just 5 or 10 pounds, but I don't want to say a number now. I just want to take it one day at a time. But 300 pounds, that's my starting. 300. And I will say, without really changing anything else, just eating, I've not cut out fast food, but I've eaten a lot less of it. I've certainly not cut out soft drinks, but I have started drinking some diet drinks. I know some studies say they're just as bad for you, but I have to do something. My A1C is borderline. I have to do something. I know sugar makes you fat. I know that. So I've been drinking far less regular soda drinks. Been mixing my tea half and half sweet, half unsweet, which I do that a lot of times anyways, because even I as a Southern boy think we could put a little less sugar in our sweet tea and it would still be good. I've been doing things like that and just eating a lot less fast food. And then for probably 50 to 70% of my meals have been these Hungry Root meals. I'm still kind of fending for myself at breakfast a lot. And then if we go out as a family, I'm eating whatever everybody else eats. I'm eating at the restaurants. But by and large, I'm eating these Hungry Root meals. And I think it was a couple days ago now. I don't know what I am today. But I was 296. So, nothing big to report on. Your body fluids. That's another thing. I do know that 300 pounds is elevated a little bit because I do have high blood pressure. Again, that was in the cards for me. But I could control it better if I lost some weight. With my family history, I think I was going to have high blood pressure anyways. But I could probably reduce my dosage of medication if I lost some weight and ate healthier. But I do have high blood pressure, and one of those pills that I need does make me hold some fluid. It makes me sound super old saying that, but when I take my socks off at the end of the day, it's very obvious that there's fluid in my legs. And that is just one of the very normal side effects. My doctor knows about it. He said unless it's painful and you can live with it cosmetically, he wouldn't change it. But Why did I say all that? Oh, I was thinking about your body weight can fluctuate based on your body fluid. So I'm not taking that as, oh, I've lost 4 pounds already. No, but I think it does mean I'm not gaining weight, at least, eating this way. And I might even be losing some. So I'm not going to be obsessive about checking my weight. But like in a week when I check back, it would be nice if it was below 296. You know, in 3 weeks, it'd be nice if it was lower than that. So I will be giving weight updates. 300 pounds is my starting weight. 296 is the lowest I've seen since I've started trying to make some changes. Yeah, so there we go. I want my lab work to improve, and I want to not be 300 pounds. I don't ever want to see 300 pounds again. I never thought I'd see that number. I mean, I was disappointed, you know, when I remember hitting 250 and been disappointed years ago. And then I, you know, more recently have started hitting like in the 280s. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. And now 300. Whew. I'm a big boy. I'm always going to be a big boy, but I don't need to be 300 pounds. So there we go. That was very long. I hope maybe some of my follow-up videos, they'll be more concise and to the point and help you decide if some of the things I'm doing make sense for you, or maybe you'll be encouraged, or if it doesn't go well for me, maybe you'll know, what you can do, not do, I should say. Please leave me, I appreciate any comments you want to leave. I will say I'm not really looking for health advice. One of my friends, Gobby, he does some of his own podcasts, and he said the other day, I know what to do. Like, I know what to do to lose weight. It's the doing it that's hard. So I'm kind of the same way. I know, it's no secret to me, you can't eat out of a drive-thru window multiple times a week and not get fat. You know, it's no secret to me what to do. So I'm not really looking for those kinds of tips and tricks, but certainly encouragement. If we just want to say, man, you're fat, anything else, you know, I'm cool with. And if you got a burning tip you just have to share, I'm cool with that too. I'm just saying I'm looking to do what I'm doing for a while and see if it helps and go from there. But thank you so much for checking out the Cardboard Cave. Again, we'll get back to the nerdy stuff next video. But maybe once a week or so, I'm going to give you an update on this. I think once a week makes sense because I get a new Hungry Root food order once a week. So how are this week's meals? You know, so far I've been pretty impressed with all of them, honestly. Only the cost is my complaint. But for me, it's worth it right now. I'm certainly spending less money at the drive-thru. Fast food ain't cheap anymore either, except for the 2 for $3.49 McDoubles. But fast food isn't cheap either. So yes, I'm spending more money on groceries because of this, but I'm spending way less money on fast food. So, and hopefully it'll be worth it for the health. But I'll check you next time. I keep saying that. I'll catch you next time in the cave. Bye-bye.